grab the duffel bag and let's roll. So grab the duffel bag and let's roll. Crossing county lines just to make my name in the city. Took everything, put it on the line, cause I never break or back down. One shot is do or die, and the odds ain't looking too pretty. But I got the feeling it's my time. I know I'm taking it now. Price of blood, sweat, and tears, and I never looked for salvation. I worked for this for all these years, and I wouldn't break or back down. No. I fought through all my fears and all of my frustrations. I see the light is getting clear. I know I'm taking it now. It's my time, I'm taking it now. It's my time. I'm taking it now. It's my time. I'm taking it now. It's my time. I'm taking it now. Whoa. All too familiar with pain, all too familiar with pride. I've been on my knees 6 but gotten up 7 times. It was never even a question of is it gonna be mine. It's not a matter of chance, just a matter of time. I've been watching the clock, 10,000 hours go by. I keep putting in work, the tears are filling my eyes. I swear I've never been tested like this, but this is mine. It's not a matter of chance, just a matter of time. Never look back. If something standing in my way, I always push back. If something seemed impossible, I never took that. Nah, cause now I know better. Can't stop, won't stop, I won't quit ever. The deepest waters won't take me. The highest fall won't break me. The blood and sweat is what made me.
I'ma get mine, just a matter of time.
The deepest waters won't take me. The highest fall won't break me. The blood and sweat is what made me.
I'ma get mine, just a matter of time. I'm taking it by the reins, I'm taking it to the sky. I'm never taking a break, I'm only taking what's mine. You say it's taking too long, I'm taking that as a sign. It's not a matter of faith, just a matter of time. Never look back, if something's standing in my way, I always push back. When something seemed impossible, I never took that. Nah, cause now I know better. Can't stop, won't stop, I won't quit ever. The deepest waters won't take me. The highest fall won't break me. The blood and sweat is what made me. I'ma get mine, just a matter of time.
The deepest waters won't take me. The highest fall won't break me. The blood and sweat is what made me.
I'ma get mine, just a matter of time. I'ma get mine, just a matter of time.
This is everything. The glitch mom, Mako, the word alive. It's Bobby, by the way. Let's get it.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment, now is your time. So prove yourself, hey.
Rise, rise. be sober. Yeah, 지혜 우리 간지에 we can never be humble. We gon' shine. Movie scene when we enter. 평생들이 저런 고백 형님의 heavy metal. Smell like a tin spirit 준 golden Lord Bonner. Pick up your weapon and face it 아무도 널 막지 않아. 널 그리 말 많아 간중은 널 믿지 않아. 보기 전까지 무시 that's why we gotta rise. Homie god damn 난 너만 팀지 못대로 걷고. Yo 바꿔내니 키볼 잘 봐라 모니터로. 내 방패는 가시오 전투하는 날기. 중력 씹어먹고 저 달나라까지 rise. Prove yourself and
Hello, viewers of the Sugar-Free League, and welcome to Game 1 of the Best of 3 series between BB Clocks and FreeTyler1 here on the main channel of the Sugar-Free League, sponsored by the one and only Acer. We have an exciting series here, and coming out the gate of bands here, we're seeing Brandon's Twisted Fate taken away. Nothing to be surprised about there, as well as thereby also Soraka being taken off the options. With my mic unmuted, we're ready to get going for this first game. And BB Clocks are as well, and are not afraid to take Camille off the table for both teams, for both FreeTyler1 and BB Clocks, neither wanting to have such a powerhouse in the game, as well as Xin Zhao. So we're seeing a lot of the early presence, heavy damage junglers, lots of the skirmishing junglers that we're so very used to seeing in this current meta. And another ban that is also not a surprise, that being the Alistar ban, so thereby also in Meteor hats are going to have to venture off of that comfort pick, that being the Aftershock Alistar. So we'll see what combinations the bot lane decides to go for. If you have been watching a lot of competitive, such as the LCK and the LCS and LEC and all the various regions of competitive play currently around the world, in the bot lane we're seeing some wacky combinations. We're seeing people like Apollo picking up the J-Sadie carry. We're seeing Teddy from SKT, you know, sticking to the Victor in the bot lane. So, you know, even though we do have the popular picks of the Lucian and Kai'Sa both being up, we are seeing BB Clocks opt for the Lucian for deep focus there, so hopefully that's a pick they can take. And another one right off the bat, almost hand in hand, one scene with a Lucian, is that Ezreal, so the double tier item has allowed him to stay relevant in this meta with his new W, allowing him to be a perfect hybrid carry there in the bot lane once he actually gets rolling with a few of his core items. So both very strong AD carries here coming out the bat so far. We'll see what they're matched with their supports in the bot lane. Otherwise, we're seeing the Jarvan picked up for FreeTyler1. That may be a Lee Shayon Jarvan there in the jungle, but it very well may be a Jarvan in the top lane. Or even if you've watched LCK, you've seen some AP Jarvan support with Summon Aerie, some of the weird viable picks that are managing to wiggle their way into the competitive and solo queue metas. So still at this point in the game, as of right now, could be a flex pick to just about anywhere. So can't say for certain where it's going just yet, but we can, knowing we've seen it on Lee Shayon before, Lee Shayon, however you want to pronounce that, we have seen him pick the Jarvan, so it wouldn't be too shocking see him opt for that Jarvan in the jungle there. And meanwhile we see Licenseless Rider picking up the Swain. So again, I can't imagine it going, it could possibly again go to the top lane for Lee Saitama if they decide to flex it up there. And it very well, you know, could, if you wanted to go for the wacky team compositions that you really could pull off, if you wanted to be really sneaky, it could also be a, you know, a Lucian mid lane, someone aggressive like Licenseless Rider and putting deep focus on a mage. But again, knowing what these players like and dislike, we can safely assume that is Lucian down in the bot lane. And I'd like to say that it's Swain for the mid lane of BB Clocks, but we'll have to see what they decide is the best optimal place to put that Swain. And otherwise we're seeing the Kennen ban. Kleptomancy Kennen up in the top lane has proven to be another common pickup for top laners nowadays, as well as Vladimir for either of the solo lanes, so they're not wanting Brandon to have that. Brandon showing a very dominating performance last time I can remember on that Vladimir, so I can't imagine too many people are wanting to let him get his hands on that Vladimir pick yet again. And otherwise we're seeing Lee Saitama's Gangplank taken away and not giving him the option to play that. The last pick, or excuse me, the last ban for BB Clocks will be that Yasuo. So we'll see what Josh decides to pick up for his team here, even though it's safely assumed he has the Ezreal. We'll see maybe if we see a mid lane pick. But otherwise, that maybe a mid or top lane pick of that Irelia. I can safely assume that perhaps WSYW, I guess. It's kind of a pain to pronounce, but I assume that would be a safe pick for him up in the top lane. players such as Broken Blade and other various players in the LCS have proven that Irelia, despite the several nerfs and having the damage, the bonus or damage taken away from shields and whatnot, all that kind of wacky stuff taken away from her kit, makes her a lot easier to deal with. Her kit is a lot less overly packed with unnecessary bonuses that she needed, so even with the kit as it is, it's still strong enough to remain as one of these very high priority solo lane picks. But otherwise, we are seeing Brandon. The team is putting him on the Kassadin. So we will be seeing the Poppy and Irelia matchup of Lee Saitama and WSYW. Oof. I actually understood what that acronym was for. Maybe that'd be a little better. But either way, that'll be the Poppy and the Irelia matchup. We'll see the Sejuani and the Jarvan in that jungle matchup right there. Sejuani being a very heavy tank, just very beefy frontliner for BB Clocks, and having a good amount of damage with her recent buffs as well will still keep her mighty relevant in these team fights. And Jarvan as well, to be able to engage with that flag and drag and what they can use with the Cataclysm. If you decide to lock up that Swain or whatever you decide to do, if you want to try to burst them down in a little AoE that you're able to get off with the Ezreal and the Cassid and whatnot, it's also a possibility for FreeTyler1, as well as the very aggressive bot lane of Lucian Leona, the very aggressive go in, let's see what we can pick up, and Ezreal and Braum probably being the little bit more passive and defensive of the two combinations. But it does help to have a Braum for FreeTyler1's composition. They do have a lot of auto attack based champions, even something like the Kassadin, where he's constantly looking to get those auto attacks in and use the reset with his W and whatnot. Will still be able to utilize and stick to people and try to proc that Braum passive off, along with the Jarvan, Irelia, and Ezreal that will help him along with doing so. We do see BB Clocks does have a lot beefier of a composition compared to FreeTyler1, besides the Braum and, off-tank Irelia with the damage and defensive items that she does get. It does allow for a front line, especially with Jarvan, depending how deep he wants to go onto the lines of BB Clocks, but BB Clocks right now are currently unmatched in their defensive capabilities with Poppy, Sejuani, and Leona, so it really is up to both Licenseless Rider and Deep Focus to pump out the damage that this team composition really needs them to be the solo carries of. But meanwhile, FreeTyler1, they have a lot of damage options, so we'll see how it goes. And for about a minute 30 seconds while this game loads in here, probably closer to 2 minutes, we'll get right back into game here, so stick around. We'll get right into game 1 of BB Clocks and FreeTyler1. Alright, and welcome back. Just about to perfectly timed get back into game 1 of BB Clocks and FreeTyler1. Cookie bets are open until about 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so probably sometime in this game your opportunity to place your bets will go down. So be sure to do so while you can. Meanwhile, as the game loads up here, we'll take a look at both team compositions while I try to do my best to fix up my interface, so please bear with me as I get everything set up here. But again, we saw that both of the team compositions in Champ Select, and as I said, I do believe BB Clocks does have the advantage off the bat in terms of beefy tankiness ability, but it does put a lot more pressure on both the Swain and the Lucian to be able to DPS accordingly. We are seeing 5 members heading up to the top lane. Or only WSYW is the only one remaining, and as they walk in, he does get a ward down to easily avoid that 5-man invade, but they will be taking out that vision on the top side of that map, something to keep in mind. So good line of scrimmage set up so far by FreeTyler1. Looks like Ezreal is maybe going for a little bit more of some aggressive deep vision. We do see some some caution pangs, I'll just say. Thrown down. They are spotted out. We're seeing some on my way pings as well, so this might be a collapse by BB Clocks here. Unsuspecting of FreeTyler1, we do have Lucian off on the right side here, who is able to easily come down as well. And only 3 members of FreeTyler1 thinking that they're being sneaky, taking this red buff, and here we go. 4 members of BB Clocks versus 3 of FreeTyler1. Deep focus. Your only chance getting very low, and the ignite ticking down as well. First blood is actually going to go down to Josh, getting that first blood off on your only chance, but it's going to be 1-1 while Deep Focus actually picks up a kill and Licensed Rider a kill of his own, and thereby also picking up a 3rd. So a very good collapse by BB Clocks, abusing that vision that they laid down early, and a 500 gold lead as early on as 2 minutes into the game with an early kill going on to each of your carries is something fantastic to see. You're not able to abuse anything on the first back to get that early advantage in lane, but it will make a significant difference when they first recall. But meanwhile, Lee Saitama, the top side, getting heavily pushed out by this Irelia level 1 Conqueror, showing how very devastating it is to deal with. But he does have his corrupting potions ticking for what sustain he can get. Still a lot of damage going down though. SW or WS, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I have something to short little nickname I can call him. Probably going to be WS for the meantime. Irelia definitely showing a lot of this power, and Lee Saitama sweating a little bit early in this lane. Seeing a little bit of a CS lead already accumulated as well. Otherwise, thus far as things go, despite Josh getting that first blood, he was only able to get the mana crystal as well as the fairy charm. And also having Endurance Shield versus the Lucian Leona lane is a little bit strange. I would suspect that in an Ezreal Braum lane, especially versus something very aggressive and very skirmish-like, such as the Lucian Leona, it would be more beneficial to maybe go the Doran's Blade, or even the Doran's Ring, depending on your playstyle, I suppose. You're wanting to rely more on that early ability power and the proc into W, but meanwhile, your only chance in Lee Shayon, they're going back and forth a little bit in the jungle. He's going to connect the Q, but no flag to drag along with it. 4 members of BB Clocks are shaping up with them and collapsing for their jungler, making sure he's taken care of and saying, "We got you, we're keeping a good eye on you." Meanwhile, Lee Saitama again getting really bullied by WS on this Irelia so far. 21 to 10 CS. Meanwhile, Licensed Rider landing just about every route that he can on Brandon. Getting very low as well, but Licenseless does not have a lot of mana to continue laying down the pressure as he has been, but here we go again. Your only chance in Lee Shayon going back for these neutral objectives. Licenseless Rider is always keen to collapse for his jungler though, so making sure they get some good control on that scuttle. And here comes your only chance, getting the good stun up on a Josh, and Arcane Shift away is going to allow Josh to get some damage off on that Leona, so it's just a little bit of a trade back and forth there in the bot lane, but Deep Focus has a pretty large CS lead so far over Josh thus far. Otherwise, besides those 4 kills early on, and as I turn off the chat here, it's something I always forget to do. It's such a nuisance that it always resets, but yeah, so far it's looking like a pretty good game so far, even though Lee Saitama is getting pushed around in that top lane. He is recovering with a CS lead, and thereby also yet again stunning off the members of the bot lane. Defocus getting that press the attack proc and getting some damage off on the Meteor Hats. Him having to proc his 1 of 2 health potions here in the bot lane. Good piercing light is also going to land for some good poke off on the Josh. And it looks like Defocus and thereby also are maybe going to push in that lane and let it crash in her tower where they get a little recall off him. Taking a look at the gold so far, Lucian is just shy of getting that 1500 Cutlass gold, so whether he waits that out or what he decides to do will be up to him. It looks like he is going to wait out that additional 15 gold, but finishing off that Cutlass will make it so he's not able to buy any potions to go along with it. That is the route he decides to go. Some cases such as that, it may be more beneficial to possibly go for the Vampiric, since you know needs boots of speed and getting a refillable potion. But here comes Lee Shayon trying to get a gank off on a licensed rider who does have flash, but he does get knocked up. Not a lot of damage is going to come out here, and thereby also Zenith Blade going a little wide and not quite going to connect on anyone, but does not matter as long as he's there for his boy. Very even CS down there in the mid lane. While we see in the top lane, WS. Good solo kill off on the Lee Saitama. Not even having purchased his buy yet. He's still sitting on a good 1700 gold, getting after having received that kill gold. So, very good solo kill for him up there in the top lane. Meanwhile, Licenseless still applying a lot of pressure here on Brandon in the mid lane. Lee Shayon not having any camps to take besides those wraiths may have an opportunity to loop around to this mid lane and try to punish this Swain, but does have to keep in mind that Sejuani could be around as she is at her own rates, and Licenseless still does have that flash, so it's very hard to lock him down to get a kill onto him. But we do see Jarvan, knowing that that top Scuttle Crab is going to soon to be up, that he may be hovering around this mid lane anyway. But he does see Swain overextending. It might be an easier opportunity for him. Another great root on this Swain, really punishing this Kassadin, but it's still pretty even in farm, so from this punish, not a lot is coming of it. Right now, gold is just 300 gold in the favor of BB Clock so far. We do see the ocean is up, and Sejuani in the jungle of Lee Shayon. Flag and Drag is going to come down while he's getting very low. Does have flash and manages to Q away, so he does look like he is, for the most part, in a good amount of safety. But Jarvan has a flash of his own, looking to see if he can maybe use it. Flag and Drag connecting as well as the Mystic Shot, but not going to be enough damage, and thereby also very aggressively getting in there in that Jarvan jungle, and Deep Focus. Ignite is ticking on him. Flash from Josh is going to secure that kill. 2 Braum stack passives on the Leona. Not quite going to find her as well, so good kill is found by Josh. Lots of summoners being burned on both sides there. Proving to be a little bit of a chaotic mess. All starting from Sejuani just playing a little bit too aggressively in that Jarvan's jungle, trying to just get in there and take her farm, so very good pickup there. So the gold is just about even now. Just barely 100 gold. BB Clocks is in the lead, and here comes a teleport by Brandon. His licensed rider does manage to pop that ult. Really, it says I think I'll walk away from that and just have you waste that cooldown while my bot lane applies some good pressure there. Trying to get that first turret plating, but not quite going to find it. Minions look like they're going to be finishing that off, and not quite. So it is there, still available for FreeTyler1 as long as the minions don't crash into it next time and take the solo gold for the turret all to themselves. I have to make sure that Josh or Meteor Hats is just barely in the vicinity of getting that turret plating, because again, 160 gold or 80 gold each is a very significant gold lead, and we're actually seeing Deep Focus and thereby also going for their second turret plating of the game. Deep Focus getting a cheeky turret aggro being placed on him. Otherwise, we are still seeing a very prominent CS lead by Deep Focus down here on the solution. 70 CS to Josh's 52. So we'll see if he can use that to his advantage. We do see both the Sheen and the Tier finish for Josh, as well as the Cloth Armor, which leads me to believe he's either going to be going for that Ninja Tabi early to help negate that Lucian, or the more common build choice, and more than likely be that Iceborne Gauntlet. Meanwhile, here we go. Lee Saitama getting stunned up by this Irelia yet again. Irelia does have her ultimate. And there we go. Lee Saitama in a little bit of trouble. Just going to manage to get his way out of that. Ninja Tabi bought on him pretty early. Does negate a lot of that Irelia damage, despite true damage from Conquer. Doing quite a bit alone. The only item being a Tiamat. She's able to apply so much pressure, being 20 CS up on Lee Saitama so far that is on this Poppy. Still are able to trade back and forth. He's still not afraid to get his hands a little dirty. Otherwise, in this mid lane, 102 on Licenseless Rider. Still managing to keep up and farm with the 0-0 Brandon as F right now. We'll see if Brandon, once he actually be able to pick up some more ability power, get his Rod of Ages and other aggressive items, if he's able to make some plays in the side lanes, or maybe walking around with Lee Cheon on this Jarvan. Otherwise, pretty slow game. Meanwhile, we do see Your Only Chance looking to see if he can maybe make a lane gank happen down here in the bot lane, thereby also stunning up Meteor Hats, because Leonel's going to come down, stunned up with a Sejuani ult as well. It's going to be just enough crowd control for Braum to stand just still enough for Deep Focus to pick up his 3rd kill of the game, and True Shot Barrage will try to see who can post down here and what minions he can clear. But it still looks like it's going to be a 3-man siege for BB Clocks on the bot side of this map. Meanwhile, Lee Cheon on the top side of the jungle, we do see some blue pinks around the Rift Herald that may be suspected to be taken, but it looks like that Jarvan's just going to opt for that blue buff. While 3 members of BB Clocks are trying to accumulate all the turret plate and gold they can. Not quite going to be able to finish off that first Blood Tower, but still going to try to get this last wave pushing under tower, perhaps even pushing for this last siege. See if they can get this tower. We do see 2 of the members of FreeTyler1, though they are opting for the Rift Herald, so both Lee Cheon and WS Irelia are going to pick up that neutral objective, while, again, 4 turret platings were taken. 4 BB Clocks on that bot side, but in exchange for Herald does make it somewhat, you know, there's differences in gold, but neutral objectives being obtained are certainly advantages enough. A very good flash, stunning up Lee Cheon against that wall, but he's not quite going to find the kill he needs. Dragon Flag, or Flag and Drag, I should say, is going to save him just in time. Good W came out from Licensed Rider there and almost got enough damage to finish off that Jarvan, but not quite. And lots of damage coming out from Licensed Rider. He's not going to be able to stay in that ult for him too long with the low amount of mana that he has. Really not quite going to find the stun that he's looking for on Poppy, and here comes Your Only Chance on Sejuani. Very good ult coming out from Irelia. Last turret shot is going to take out Lee Saitam. I thought one more is going to finish off Your Only Chance as well, but not quite. WS is getting his 2nd kill of the game there, despite a 2-man dive down there. And here comes Meteor Hats trying to defend this turret with all his life. Lands a good ultimate, and he's getting stunned up. Thereby also in Demacia, Lee Cheon tries to get the Cataclysm off on Deep Focus, but he's going to tank up a lot of the culling. Very good passive proc from that Lucian auto is going to leave a Deep Focus with yet another kill, but Josh going on the aggressive, wants that blue buff. Deep Focus flashes away, but Josh has a flash of his own, and so does Meteor Hats, taking that blue buff away from his Ezreal. So good shutdown there. That's going to be 4-2 on the Lucian. Meanwhile, Josh starting to pick up steam on this Ezreal, 3-1 with a 500 gold bounty on his head. Looks like they're going to try to pick up some turret plating here on the bot side, and Your Only Chance is going to respond and clear what minions he can very, very effectively, so it would seem, with this W. So trying to deny FreeTyler1 as much of this turret plating gold as they possibly can. Otherwise, so far the score is 7-6, but we do see a 1k gold lead in favor of BB Clocks, having picked up that first Blood Tower gold. So 1 kill in the lead, and as well as a good chunk of gold is right where you want to be, as well as having that first tower off the board for the rest of the game. We do see the Ocean Dragon hasn't been receiving a lot of attention by either jungler, but we don't really see a lot of priority taken on these Ocean Dragons, but it may behoove these junglers to do so, because as soon as you do take that one, even if it is, you know, the useless Ocean Dragon, you know, whatever it cycles out into next, you know, maybe that next one is going to be the Infernal or perhaps the Earth Dragon. So it's important to cycle through and just get as many dragons as you can, especially if the game does last long enough to last towards the length of Elder Dragon times in a game. So the more dragons you have, the better. Meanwhile, Licenseless and Brandon going back and forth yet again. The Swain Cassin, and Brandon showing no fear despite taking so much damage from Licenseless. Swain popping that ult, and it's going to force Cassidon. He's going to have to Rift Walk away, and Licenseless going for a very aggressive flash, see if he can get that last root, but not quite going to find it. Braum come down to the bot side while Licenseless picks up a lot of this last minute gold here, pushes that lane in, and Meteor has maybe looking for a little bit of a cheeky pick of his own, but thereby also is here to respond for his boy. He says, I'm right behind you, Licenseless. Well, make sure you can safely get out of here. No worries, bud. Otherwise, Sejuani, BB Clocks picking up the first dragon of the game, that being the Ocean. Next dragon looks like, as I said, you know, it's going to swap out to a next one being the useful one, the Infernal. Or I'd say that any of the other ones are more useful than Ocean. I think Ocean isn't completely useless, but certainly not at the pace of the Infernal, the Mountain, and the Cloud Dragon that we see the usefulness of what those three bring. And here comes Li Xiaoyan, threatening for a Flagon Dragon, thereby also threatening his own, or a stun of his own if he does decide to go in. Leona W, as well as Aftershock, does allow that Leona to have so many resistances. We're actually seeing Lee decide to pop this Rift Herald to see if they can get this mid lane turret. Here at 15 minutes in the game, might see if we get a little bit of an engage going. Your only chance here on the sides. W not quite going to find the Braum, but Leona stun is, as well as the Swain Rune. Here comes True Shot Barrage and the Culling bringing out, and Meteor Hat's taking up a lot of it, but Ignite ticking down. It's going to be a kill for thereby also. WS has arrived on this Irelia, but at this point it is a numbers game. 5 members of BB Clocks compared to the 4 of FreeTyler1. Despite having that Rift Herald on their side, BB Clocks were able to easily negate it, and they're trying to look for a mid lane turret of their own. Good Swain W is going to land on the Ezreal, Lee's side Tom, and thereby also looking to flex up as far as they can. Defocus does a good job taking down the turret, but Irelia's going to get caught out by the Swain Root, and Poppy's going to get slammed against that Jarvan wall that Lee perfectly put for his own demise. 10-6 so far in favor of BB Clocks, with a little bit more than a 2,700 gold lead. For this blue side, 5-2 on the Lucian right now, a Deathless Licenses Rider, 104 so far in the Swain. 8 kill participation into the 10 total kills on BB Clocks for your only chance. And Li Xiaoyan, despite, he's getting in there and he's trying to make these engages happen. But you gotta remember, if you are at a numbers disadvantage, League of Legends right now is very much a numbers game. It's very much a team-oriented game. And right now, he is level 8 to this level 9 Sejuani, so he does have the Warrior to the Cinderhulk finish, but still trying to find what damage he can from the Hex Drinker that he may have. That Null Magic Mantle being purchased, and thereby also is able to just constantly set up so many plays with this stun bot Leona. So far we're seeing a very good game from BB Clocks, but it is still anybody's game. We do still see 3-1-1. Josh is still working on his items. He did finish off the Ninja Tommy that'll help the survivability. First, that Lucian that now has his Black Cleaver and Blade of the Ruin King finished. So very, very scary Lucian here for the side of BB Clocks. And meanwhile, we see Josh just right now in base finish off his Iceborne Gauntlet. So a lot of armor coming out of him is going to give him a good amount of survivability. First the Lucian, but we do have to worry about the good amount of magic damage that's coming out from both Licenseless Rider and to a certain extent the Sejuani as well. Sejuani Jungle is still going to pump out a good amount of damage despite how much of a, high health meat shield that she's meant to be on this front line for BB Clocks here. Irelia is doing her best to stay relevant. She is right now sitting on that Phage and Sheen only with about 400 gold, so not quite going to get the Trinity Force that she wants just yet. Thereby also sitting in a bush that FreeTyler1 does not have vision of. A good Sejuani ult is going to land on the Jarvan, and another kill picked up for Deep Focus with the Culling. Brandon, meanwhile, on this bot side, seeing if he can pick up this outer bot lane turret. Does have teleport available, but that's going to be the top lane outer turret taken for BB Clocks. Three members of FreeTyler1 are doing their best to see what they can defend. Despite Josh doing, well enough to the best of his ability, just does not deal enough damage. Meanwhile, 2 members stunned up for FreeTyler1. A very good Leona comes up and stops their retreat. Irelia ult comes out as well. And that's just going to be so much damage coming out from BB Clocks, and they're just able to steamroll over FreeTyler1, but not Josh. He says, I'm going to pick up a kill of my own. License is his first death of the game, and thereby also going to fall as well. And looks like FreeTyler1 are picking up the pace as BB Clocks overstays their welcome. Defocus is on a killing spree. He does manage to flash away, and he's picking up a lot of damage. Double kill for Lee Saitama, finishing off Li Xiaoyan and this Jarvan, but Josh is going to be on a rampage. He's able to kill that Sejuani, but that's going to be a triple kill for Lee Saitama with the Sheen Poppy. And that's going to be an ace for BB Clock. 16-9 here at 19 minutes in the game. Oh my goodness. So very exciting. So we do see Dragon is live and Baron spawning in just a little sooner than a minute. Do have to keep in mind that Josh was able to finish his Mirror Mana, so that's going to be a little bit of a damage difference in his team fighting capabilities. Does have the second tier finished off as well. He is going to be working towards that Archangels and a Seraph's Embrace. Very popular amongst the Ezreal builds nowadays, and speaking of popular, there's nothing more popular than thereby also starting a fight of his own with one of these Stunbot champions, such as the Leona, such as the Alistar, such as the Braum. And he is going to manage to find a kill off onto Braum. Meteor Hats is looking to find Vision too aggressively, and it's going to cost him his life. Little more than a 4K goal lead for BB Clock so far. They do pick up the second dragon of the game, that being the Infernal, which is so very devastating, especially when that Lucian is already 8-2. Does have the Blade of the Ruin King, does have the Black Cleaver, even working towards that Zeal item. So having that Zeal complete, even having that 50% crit, could make a difference in a team fight, as well as that bonus movement speed it does receive from holding on to that Zeal. Meanwhile, Swainru is going to find another kill on a Josh. Deep Focus is unstoppable. Thanks to Licenseless Rider landing yet another good Swainru. Finding so many different picks of the various forms of crowd control from BB Clocks right now, and it has led them to accumulate about 18 kills so far in this 20-minute game. As they try to walk up and see if they can find their first inhib, or yet another kill. There goes WS on that Irelia. BB Clocks pick up their 19th kill in the mid inhib as they try to see if they can look for more or decide to back away. Probably the wiser choice, knowing that Baron is up. Doesn't matter if you have a 7k gold lead, it still could swing in anybody's way. They're wanting to play a bit safer. They don't want to overreach for too much, so we are seeing several of the members recalling. Trying to take as much of FreeTyler1's jungle as they possibly can. True Shot Barrage, checking just in case if they are doing Baron. They are receiving that information from that True Shot Barrage, so don't even have to go too risky for some vision to make sure that they're not or anything like that. They do have the ability to do so. We do see the Rapid Fire Cannon finished on the Lucian. Again, 3-item Lucian, so very scary to have to deal with. Despite BB Clocks only having 2 heavy damage sources in this team composition, they are executing it very, very well. Meanwhile, Irelia has finished her Trinity Force and does have the Tiamat as well, so she is able to apply pressures in the side lanes the best she can. Having her teleport up is going to try to get the waves manipulated in FreeTyler1's favor before they get anything too crazy started. However, on the top side, all the members of BB Clocks are looking to get something started. They are looking to see if they can get something crazy going, thereby also every Zenith Blade he hits and every single Solar Flare that's landed typically does result in a kill. And here we go, the inhib turret and Lucian Cataclysm does land. He flashes out to keep 2 members in, but thereby also is on a mission of his own. Good kill for Josh, is going to finish off there, and a True Shot Barrage is going to land for 4 members of BB Clocks. The Licenseless Rider on the front lines, good flash. Picks up Braum with that last Q, and another root onto Josh may be his demise. A very good Swain Pop is going to come in, and Irelia is going to try to disarm as many of the members she can, even though it's not a mechanic anymore, and it's not going to matter. Double kill for Deep Focus, 11, 2, and 10 so far in this Lucian. And as many people would say, this is looking like the fat lady singing for FreeTyler1. 22-11 right now. Shutdown is going to be found for Josh. Too many turret shots being taken by Lee Saitama. A good WQ is found, and he's trying to slow as many people down as they try to leave his base. Almost finding that WQ onto Your Only Chance. Might have had just enough damage having that lost chapter to get that W proc. It could have been enough to blow her up and find his 8th kill, but instead he's just going to have to be satisfied so far with a very good score that he does have. Josh right now, 7-3-2 on this Ezreal. He is sitting on about 1,600 gold. He is going to be able to finish off his 2nd tier item. It's not going to be completely stacked yet, but having that Archangels is going to, you know, just allow him to stack it up even faster as he works towards the full Seraph's Embrace. Having that utility of the shield and the massive amount of ability power that does come with it. You know, he doesn't have the Sork Shoe, so he doesn't have the Magic Pen that we've seen to be so very common on a lot of the Ezreal builds nowadays, but despite that, he is still going to be a very scary hybrid damage monster for BB Clocks to have to deal with if they do allow Ezreal to get to that point in the game where he is able to wipe the entire team, because he is getting left to his own and he is dealing a lot of damage in these fights that maybe he shouldn't be allowed to. Otherwise, everyone else on FreeTyler1 is so very starved. None of them are really getting any opportunity to, you know, pick up a gold lead of their own. Brandon, despite only having died 1 time, still, you know, does have 200 CS and a good 50 CS gold lead, as well as WS on the Irelia having about a, you know, 40 to 50 CS lead of her own. But it's really just not enough for these solo lanes to pick up enough damage. Taking a look at the goal differences so far, you know, there's not really too much disparity anywhere else except for the bot lane. 11-2 on this Lucian. Look at that, shredding the damage of anyone that stays in the way of that, or shredding the armor of anyone that stays away in the culling. So, again, we are seeing this last siege 2 inhibs for BB Clocks, just trying to see if they can find their third. Flag is down while the True Shot Barrage from Josh comes out, but doesn't find too many members. Not a lot of damage. Is able to come out from this Ezreal, despite having the higher damage composition, and Meteor Hat's trying to start an engage, and there comes the Cataclysm. Stopwatch is also available for 4 members to be stuck inside the wall, but you're stuck in here with me, Early Chance says, who picks up that last kill. Ironia still stands as Irelia pops an ult of her own, and 3 members of FreeTyler want to get blown up by the Swain ult proc. So much damage, while yet another double kill by Deep Focus is getting picked up. And that's going to be the game, 25-11 in favor of BB Clocks in this 25-minute game. An almost 8k gold lead for game 1 here. BB Clocks showing a very good first game versus FreeTyler1. Before we get into this next game, I will, we'll take a look at the scoreboard and everything, and if there's any sort of stat you'd like to take a look at besides the obvious that we're going to show, that being the damage. So we'll go over to the graphs, and we are seeing that Josh was able to pump out the most damage of anyone in that game. 27,000 damage in a 25-minute game is very good, but a lot of his other members are lacking. About only 7,000 damage on the Jarvan. That did go very heavy damage. Was finishing off that warrior build and other items to complement it. We're not seeing a lot of damage coming out from Brandon on this Cassidy. A little more than 9,000 damage isn't going to compare to Licenseless Rider dealing 21,000 on the Swain and 18,000 coming out from Deep Focus on this Lucian. We'll take a look at the damage taken, another important stat, so we can make the tanks feel special as well. So we are seeing the beefy front lines of Poppy and the Sejuani doing a very good amount of damage, of tanking up damage, as their job may imply. And a lot of front lining going on from Lee Sheon on the Jarvan, who was able to tank up a lot of damage, but to no avail. And lastly, we'll take a look at the vision score. The vision score for that game is going to go to Thereby also, who is able to make so many plays happen with this Leona, as suspected, when he does get one of these beefy frontline support champions. Does set up a lot of great plays for his team, and showing that he's able to follow it up with great vision as well. Meteor Hats is not too far along, not too far behind that. So again, very good first game. And as we get into game 2, as I get the lobby going, we'll have actually, I'll see if we need an intermission. I guess I probably shouldn't bring it to intermission. I'm not going to do that, actually. So we're going to get game 2 going as I so very slowly create this custom game. So this will be FreeTyler1 versus BBC, game 2. And the password, it's a very secretive password, so no one else can join. None of you trolls can find us on the public list and get in here and try to sneak in to sub for either team. So I think got Lee and Joe. Okay, so we got everyone in here. I'll head over to spectate. So while we get the rest of the members in for game 2, I will update the scoreboard and everything. So we'll go into a little bit of a short intermission as we get this next game started. And it looks like that FreeTyler1 is going to take blue side for game 2 as well. So I'm going to get everything switched around, and as soon as we can, we'll get started with game 2 of BB Clocks versus FreeTyler1. Alright, who is ready for Game 2 of this best of 3 series between FreeTyler1 and BB Clocks? We saw a very dominating performance for the most part from the side of BB Clocks on that first game. BB Clocks showing that they are not afraid to go for that very heavy tank-reliant team composition, picking that tank top, tank jungle, tank support, and allowing their 2 carries of Licenseless Rider and Deep Focus to do the heavy brute of the damage dealing. Compared to FreeTyler1, that typically we do see them opt for a lot heavier damage team composition from every individual member. So maybe we'll see some things switched up. So far, we are seeing Brandon not able to have his Twisted Fate, and nor is anyone going to be able to pick up that Camille. And meanwhile, Sejuani saying your only chance is gone to pick Sejuani yet again. You got your only chance to pick one of the most highly contested junglers in the current League of Legends tank meta. Swain being taken away from Licenseless Rider as well, landing just about every route I saw him throw out, so very well versed on that Swain, not going to let him have it again. And they're saying BB Clocks doesn't want Lucian this time, but they also don't want to give FreeTyler1 the chance to first pick it away either, so probably the wiser choice to ban it out and ban it away. We'll see if Ezreal is picked up, but there's one of the viable AD carries that I'd like to see as opposed to Ezreal. You know, if you're not, in my personal opinion, if you're not picking Lucian, Kai'Sa, Vayne, you're kind of trolling down there in the bot lane as far as marksmen go. So we are seeing Josh going to be on something that he's comfortable on, as far to my to the best of my knowledge, as far as I know, he is pretty comfortable on this Kai'Sa, as well as a Victor being picked up. Now again, Victor, when you're picking it this early, especially in the first stage of picking, you can't say for certain where it's going, and it's especially dependent on the players as well. If, you know, Lee Saitama could pick it, Licenseless Rider could pick it, hell, even, again, Deep Focus, Victor bot lane is more popular than, I'd say, what we've been seeing out of Victor in the other lanes so far in this current patch. Meanwhile, we're seeing thereby also not actually on a tanky engage support this time around, which is a little unfortunate to see. I love watching him on the things like the Leona and whatnot, where he's constantly just able to start a fight, Solar Flare, Zenith Blade, Solar Flare, Zenith Blade, you know, just over and over. And he's able to, you know, just allow his team so many opportunities to pick up just through his own efforts. Meanwhile, we did see the Ivern hover, but instead we're going to see the Fiddlesticks picked up. See where that decides to go, and, you know, it might be an answer to the Soraka if they want to go for the Kai'Sa Fiddlesticks down there in the bot lane, but either way, you're going to have that very scary threat of the Vladimir to deal with. Every time Brandon gets Vladimir, he's usually a threat to be reckoned with, a force to be reckoned with, I should say. So, very, very highly contested pick, very scary pick, and here we go again, your only chance. Every time I've seen him play Rammus, it's been a show. So we're seeing him pick up that tanky jungle there. It doesn't matter if you take that Sejuani away. It's almost a bait, you know, having to waste that ban on the Sejuani, because I think, you know, this is probably one of the only players in the sugar-free league that will happily opt to play some Rammus. So picking that up for him, it's going to be very nice for BB Clocks. A very good, comfortable pick for them in general when they're planning their team compositions. I can only imagine that Rammus is probably picked in a good amount of their scrims with how comfortable your only chance seems to look on it. But meanwhile, we're seeing a lot of top laners banned out. We're seeing WS is a little bit of a fear for BB Clocks as they see both the Irelia and the Scion taken off the table. Lee Saitama, though, showing that he was able to make a good amount of presence on that Poppy. They're seeing that taken away, as well as, yet again, Gangplank not going to allow him to have that either. So 4 top lane bans in the second stage of banning. So we'll see what the first pick from BB Clocks is to respond to this. But again, I could imagine that they are going to have... Oh, well, where's that Jace going to go? After today, when we did see Apollo on Echo Fox, did pick up that Jace AD carry. Could imagine him picking it down there, but he's going to... Nah, he's playing me for a fool. Instead, they're going to offer the Caitlyn Soraka bot lane. And I want to say that so far it is going to be the Caitlyn Soraka versus the Kai'Sa Fiddlesticks, but I've yet to see. As soon as I see the last 2 picks of FreeTyler1, I can take a better guess. But so far, FreeTyler1, lots of ability power. Lots and lots of it. Kai'Sa, Vladimir, Fiddlesticks, a lot of ability power. So maybe something a bit more attack damage oriented. might be a good pickup. And there's going to be Lee Cheon on the Jarvan the fourth, yet again. We'll see. And here comes the Aatrox. So there's the two very heavy damage, physical damage threats that does need to help balance out that very heavy ability damage team composition. But again, despite Jarvan and Aatrox being frontliners and, you know, being a lot more damage oriented, they do accumulate some amount of resistances and sustain and all that. So it's still maybe just not quite enough to be on a tanky front line as compared to the Rammus and whatnot. So we are seeing right now the last pick for Lee Saitama on the top lane is going to be that Kennen. So we'll see if they go for the Kleptomancy. That's been a lot more popular. Otherwise, we'll see the last of the swaps go around. So we'll see what can more than likely be the Aatrox and the Kennen up in the top lane, perhaps. I want to see actually where they send the lanes, because they might even do some sort of cheeky lane swap, knowing that a melee such as Aatrox may get bullied around a lot more by a Kennen in the top lane. They might just swap around until I can't really guess as to what's going on. FreeTyler1 being one of those weirder teams where, you know, they might go for something a little cheeky. But otherwise, as the 3-minute intermission goes, you can take a look at the team compositions, and we're going to have a little pause, enjoy some 2013 electronic dubstep music that may have been more popular in another time. I might actually put a different playlist on, but either way, we will be getting into Game 2 of FreeTyler1 and BB Clock, so stay tuned. Alrighty, and here we go. I'm going to actually put down that the cookie bets are closed. I probably should have put that up a little bit sooner, but it did manage to slip my mind. I'm also going to adjust the different tags, so please do give me a moment as I fix up the stream. But again, we do have the second game of BB Clocks versus FreeTyler1. So very exciting series thus far. We did see a very dominating performance from BB Clocks in that first game. But again, that is why we have a best of 3 series, so it can still just be anybody's series. FreeTyler1 can, you know, just pick up. They can pick up the reverse sweep if they're able to get it. You know, it's all about that momentum. It's all about, you know, just keeping that good mental. You know, not allowing that first game of a best of 3 series to get to you. It is going to be a lot nicer for them, I believe, this game with FreeTyler1's composition, having Brand on something like the Vladimir as opposed to the Kassadin, which I don't think he ever applies too much presence on. I think having that Ignite there in the mid lane as well will allow for him to have some kill pressure as well on Licenseless Rider, but again, Victor also opting for the Ignite, so there might, and I know Licenseless Rider does like to get a little bit more aggressive on that Victor. He's not afraid to trade back and forth in these lanes, so still could just be about anyone's game there. We're seeing Cheeky Cheese down here in the bot lane. Deep Focus getting feared up despite having a lot of damage with that Q, but even more is going to come out. Josh, great amount of damage coming out from that Kaizo, but having thereby also on that Soraka is going to allow him to sustain through that lane. Did start Q though, so they're going to have to wait until they get that level 2 to get that W and get that Caitlyn healed up, so Deep Focus and thereby also are going to have to play it very passive. But it was good for them to have that vision on the Jarvan, who was looking to see if they can pull off a cheeky level 2 gank. We are seeing the Kleptomancy on Lee Saitama, Ken as well, already having 2 gold stacks, so already proven to be a very beneficial keystone if you're able to roll the roulette of RNG and the runes. So very good pickup there, also dominating CS League so far, and was expected to see in a range versus melee matchup, so no surprise. Lee Saitama being a bit more comfortable there, but here comes your only chance rolling in. Good Smite picking up that blue buff, but a flagging drag from Lee Saitama is going to find Deep Focus, who's going to be forced to flash and heal away. Lee Shayon very low in his zone, and that's going to be a first blood over. So, and there's so much more going on. Brandon's actually getting in there, but he's getting taunted as well. He's going to follow up with Josh's flash. Fool is laying down to avoid him getting any more damage, and Licenseless Rider's going to have to flash away. Q landing on the Soraka and healing up Licenseless is going to create such a chaotic first 5 kills. So much happening and can hardly keep up with it, but we do see a kill on both of the AD carries. 1-0-1 so far on Josh, but both AD carries do have both their flashes and heals down. Both supports also picking up a kill, but Licenseless Rider did probably pick up the most valuable kill of them all. That being the first blood, and you know, being able to pick up what I actually was not the hex core that I believed. I wasn't sure if he was able to accumulate that, but I guess I believe it's 1350 for that first upgrade. And manual camera is going to stick on for some reason as I put it back to directed camera. My apologies, but again, taking a look at the gold so far, 5 kills being picked up does allow BB Clocks so far to have about a 700 gold lead, or a little bit more than, as they quickly accumulate to become more and more. But again, despite only being 1 kill above FreeTyler1, they have a very large, significant, now looking at it, a 900 gold lead so far for FreeTyler1. But here comes Meteo Hats, getting the silence down on the Licenseless Rider, and a fear landing as well. Brand's not going to get stunned up by the gravity field, but here comes your only chance. Flash taunting Brandon. It's going to allow a lot of damage to come off on this, or excuse me, on the Vladimir. The last Death Ray isn't going to be enough to finish off Brandon. He's going to be limping away as he gets that Q heal, and thereby also silencing Brandon for that last amount of damage to finish off that Vladimir. So 4 kills. Now the second one for thereby also on the Soraka, 2-0-2, and already having a 450 gold bounty on his head. But it being a Soraka, it's very easy to take her out. She does not, or she doesn't have the barrier up just now, but it is a little bit harder to take her down once she does have that barrier available. So something for FreeTyler1 to keep in mind, but having a lot of damage, having that Jarvan for the deep dive onto the Soraka, as well as the Aatrox and the Vladimir that can really capitalize on, you know, or Cataclysm, excuse me, of people, you know, circled into Jarvanal, can allow for Brandon to deal a great amount of damage. So again, still, we do see BB Clocks having the much bigger gold lead so far. Already 5 minutes into the game. Seeing deep focus on the fleet footwork Caitlyn as well as the fleet footwork on the Kaiser, so nothing too out of the ordinary there. Seeing Meteor Hats offer the Aftershock Fiddlesticks allows him to have a bit more of heavy defense and resistances when he does go in for a little bit of an aggressive Crow Storm. If he does go into 5 people and manages to get a Fear off, that will allow him to get that resistances of the Aftershock and give him some more survivability despite how many people he may be tanking. Otherwise, your only chance is doing his best to apply a lot of that good pressure on this Rammus. He already did blow his flash there in the mid lane to see if he can finish off that kill on the Brand. And despite his support finishing it off, it was a kill on the Brand nonetheless. 0-2 already on this Vladimir. But on a champion like Vladimir, it doesn't matter if you're able to manage to farm up and get your items. You know, you can be 0-10. You can still potentially one-hit an entire team. Otherwise, we're seeing Rammus here in the bot side jungle, getting that Scuttle Crab, doing a good job to secure these neutral objectives. Solo lanes doing pretty well in CS for the mid lane, but Kennen here bullying WS under his tower on this Aatrox. 47 CS to 21. So far, a very dominating lane, showing how very miserable it is to play a melee into a ranged matchup, especially one that is getting several items from this Kleptomancy. Able to get a lot of early gold from the gold sacks and a lot of extra sustain from the potions that are given to him, and even things like Red Pot that allow him to have a bit more damage early on in this lane. Does make a lane like Kennen that's so very hard to deal with early on, even without the Kleptomancy, even harder. Meanwhile, Brand trying to get some damage off of a licensed rider, but hardly taking any. Victor trades back a good amount of damage, and only a Ruby Crystal remains so far, and this Vladimir is doing his best to try to remain relevant and get back in this game, try to farm up the best he can, try to get that Hextech Proto Belt and the other items that will allow him to succeed in this game if he's able to get rolling. But so far we do see 12,400 gold as opposed to FreeTyler1 only having about a little less than 11,000 so far. And a lot of that gold is going to be the big difference of that 59 to the, or excuse me, the 60 to 30 CS up in the top lane. Kennen having about 2,700 gold almost, with Aatrox only having about 1,900. That is a massive gold lead. Pretty much all the gold lead that we do see here at the top of the scoreboard is this top lane. Otherwise, still a pretty standstill game. Even though we saw that huge explosion of chaos there in that first 2 minutes of the game down there in the bot side, now it's starting to... The storm is starting to calm down a little bit. Nothing too crazy again. Lee Saitama, though. Lots of damage coming out from this Kennen. We do see him having a blue pot as well, available to be procced, and yet another Sly Gold, and I wish I could take a look at how much this Kleptomancy's already accumulated, but I don't believe it would actually tell me, so... It's over here. Yeah, no, so... I actually can't take a look at how much he's gotten from these gold sacks with using this Kleptomancy, but... Otherwise, we're seeing a little bit of a 2v2, the presence from both junglers appearing in the mid lane. Lee Shayon standing on a ward, so Licensed Rider is more than aware. He does allow himself to get knocked up and lays the gravity field down. Flash is coming out from Brandon as well as the Ignite. Cataclysm is going to keep Licensed Rider just in the position enough for Brandon to pick up that kill, or not quite, but Lee Shayon to pick up that kill, but a lot of damage nonetheless. Coming out from Brandon on his Vladimir, your only chance coming over on the plant while teleport comes in from the Kennen. Going to be canceled though. Good knock-up, and Meteor Hats is trying to apply the pressure that he can, and thereby also is on a killing spree while Josh tries to finish him off, and Barrier is able to negate a lot of the damage, and stepping on a Caitlyn trap is going to allow Caitlyn to finish off another kill. Deep Focus is going to pick off that Caitlyn ult, and here comes Meteor Hats. Another flash by Your Only Chance is going to allow him to taunt up that Fiddlesticks, and a double kill for Your Only Chance. 8-3 on the favor of BB Clocks right now, taking over that first game one. It looks like they're really wanting to take this game two. Already looking towards that Ocean Dragon that will very much help them through their early sustain in these laning phases. Allows Soraka, that's able to heal up everybody else, to have some health regeneration of her own, and allows her to spam heal pretty much off of cooldown. 305 so far on the Soraka with a 600 gold bounty on her head. So if, you know, as we did see there with Brandon and Lee Shayon flashing to be able to get Licensed Rider and the Cataclysm, and just about every summoner and ability being used to get that kill onto BB Clocks' mid laner, all they need to do is apply that same amount of pressure to the Soraka, and not only they're going to pick up the 300 gold that they otherwise would get from a kill, but it's going to be an additional 300 gold, knowing that thereby also has the gold bounty on her head. So killing that Soraka is going to be a lot more beneficial for FreeTyler1 than killing anyone else on the map so far. We do see both Caitlyn and the Rammus have 450 gold bounties of her own, but Rammus is going to be a lot harder to kill. It's going to be harder to kill the Caitlyn. You know, if she does have her summoner spells up, she's able to flash away and continue getting healed by the Soraka. You know, it's a lot harder to take those targets out compared to their support. Otherwise, Lee Shayon blind, looking to see if he can find Lee Saitama up in the top side. Is going to get stunned up, but nothing's going to come of it. WS is doing his best to farm under tower and trying to close the CS gap the best he can. Kennen still with a very large CS lead, but Jarvan is going to be able to clear out this vision up in the top side, see if he can make something happen, possibly dive this Kennen. Despite how suicidal that may sound, Kennen does have his ultimate ability up, available for use if they do go for a dive, but speaking for another gank, here comes your only chance going on the top side, but a good fear coming out from the Fiddlesticks. Meteor Half is able to negate that gank pretty easily. Meanwhile, Josh just had that BF sword and double long sword and dagger as well, so having 900 gold, he is going to be able to finish that Storm Razor off in his next back, but taking a lot of damage from the Caitlyn Q. Here comes another ult from Brandon, and Cataclysm going down to License's Rider. Zoni's Hourglass is going to be able to buy him some time. Here comes Lee Saitama, the teleport coming in, trying to stumble who he can, but he couldn't quite find the Jarvan that he was looking for. But meanwhile, your only chance is on a killing spree, picking up that kill. Brandon will be going down. So far, he does have the 20% CDR from both the Kindle Jam and the Boots of Lucidity, but does not matter. 0-4 so far in this Vladimir. Flag and Drag is going to get Lee Shayon to safety, or at least for the time being. Lee Saitama cuts him off from the lane path that he was looking to take, and an ult from Deep Focus is going to allow that Caitlyn to pick up her third kill of the game. Licenseless Rider trying to pick up the turret plating that he can here in the mid lane, being uncontested so far. Brandon walking back the lane. Meanwhile, Ken's going to have to walk up. Aatrox was able, during that teleport of Ken's, to pick up some CS that he was lacking, but their only chance isn't quite going to be able to finish off some ganks here in the bot lane. Rammosphere is able to negate just about every Rammus Powerball that comes his way. So he's going to have to maybe look for mid lane, or look for top lane, or even look for the jungler if he's able just looking to be more reactive than proactive and just go for counter ganks on this Jarvan and see to go where the Jarvan goes. Otherwise, still maintaining that CS lead. Kennen up in the top lane, just about to break 100 CS here at 13 minutes. Meanwhile, the gold lead, 22,000, just about to break here on the side of BB Clocks. 10 kills to 3, but no towers going down yet. Hextech Revolver being finished on this Vladimir does allow him to have just ever so slightly more damage as he works his way towards his Proto Belt. Having that Kindle Gem, so he is going to have those components working together to finish off that item, but silence from the Fiddlesticks is yet again going to cancel that Powerball. Fiddlesticks showing to be a very good answer to your only chance is Rammus, but here comes Lee Shayon threatening to go into Flag and Drag, but instead it's just going to be the Flag and no drag. Turret plating is going to be falling in about 30 seconds. We see Brandon applying a lot of damage down the Licenseless Rider, burning his ultimate just to see if he can push this Victor out of lane. Is maintaining a slight CS lead here in the mid lane despite being 0-4. Here comes your only chance though. No fear to stop the Powerball now, but knowing that Lee Shayon is there, he's going to be able to back off and go for a little bit of a safer play, that being just to farm up instead of going for what may be a 2v2 that may go in the favor of FreeTyler1. BB Clocks are wanting to solidify the lead that they have right now. Going for any sort of risky plays may allow them to have the gold lead swing back in their favor, so BB Clocks are trying their best to do anything they can to avoid that happening. Otherwise, back and forth going on here in the top lane. 91 CS on WS, despite being down almost double the CS of Lee Saitama, is able to farm up the best he can. Does have the Phage and working towards that Black Cleaver ever so slowly. We're seeing a 2v2 up in the top side. And meanwhile, Licenseless Rider, knowing that Brandon does not have his ultimate available for this next duel, be able to apply a good amount of pressure onto him the best he can. Both mid laners having Ignite, so there's a good amount of kill pressure going on there. Jarvan often go for mid lane, while Rammus, here he comes for Aatrox. Swiggity swoogity, I want that booty. Manages to get the taunt off in the Aatrox. I'm going to see if they can stun it up. Lee Saitama going into melee range of this Aatrox, but he's going to be able to pop that Resurrection. And here comes the Chaos Storm coming out from Victor, as well as the Gravity Storm. And Brandon tries to flash right out of it. Nolt's going to come down, but a lot of healing from the Sirocco is going to save License's Rider just in time. Question mark pain coming out from Brandon saying, what in God's name was that heal that came out there? License's Rider picking up his second kill of the game so far, 2-1-3 on this Victor. Brandon, despite flashing away from the gravity field right after coming out of his stopwatch, wasn't able to find the amount of burst damage despite having used his flash and ignite. Licenseless not even going to have to use his flash, just the ignite. Finish off Brandon, who so far is 0-5 on this Vladimir. Not sure what is going on with them. Maybe nerves? Maybe individual performance problems? Who knows? But meanwhile, Cloud Drake is live. One dragon that is still on the map so far of any team right now is just the Ocean Dragon on the side of BB Clocks. So we'll see who's able to pick up that Cloud Dragon. It will help when it does come to the range carries, such as the Kennen and the Caitlyn that may be trying to kite back this Aatrox Jarvan and whatever else is coming at her, or out at her, I should say. But it does help for the melees as well to have more movement speed to stick on those range carries and, you know, to the best of their ability. And speaking of melee carries trying to stick on the range carries, you see Lee Shayon opting out of the gank. May result in a dive on a Lee Saitama, knowing that Kennen does have his ultimate up, and diving a Kennen is just so very scary of a threat to have to deal with, so he's going to just opt for his blue buff. Brandon, mid lane tower, looking very low, while your only chance on this bot side is applying some pressure yet again with the Fiddlesticks. Going to get feared up, but doesn't matter. It just looks like they're trying to get that first turret. That's all they need. First blood turret is going to go over to BB Clock. So far, 29,000 gold of FreeTyler1's 24,000. 5,000 gold lead so far as they look towards the second dragon of the game. See right now, we're taking a look at Kennen going for Lee Shayon that is in the jungle of BB Clock, seeing if you can find that last stun, but knowing that Brandon is there and the teleport does come out from the Aatrox. Gravity field is going down, but not quite going to land the stun. Lee Saitama popping an ult of his own, while the jungler is able to pick up that Cloud Dragon while this is going on. Chaos Storm is going to be enough to finish off Lee Shayon, and Brandon's getting chased down by Deep Focus, thereby also, and your only chancer in pursuit of this Vladimir. Pool is going to go down, and Deep Focus is going to flash Q, not quite going to find it on the Brandon, but here comes the Powerball, knowing that Vladimir doesn't have Pool or Flash, is going to use a Flash of his own. I think your only chance having 3 flashes so far this game, using Flash just about off cooldown. 18 minutes in the game and having 3 flashes on the mid laner to send any mid laner tilted. So 1-6 so far, Brandon not having the hottest game of his Vladimir career, while the 3 members of BB Clocks are getting this outer top lane turret. 13-4, and so far 2 turrets to 0 on the side of FreeTyler1. BB Clocks, another dominating victory so far. We'll see if FreeTyler1 can really answer to it. So far getting suffocated out despite WS not having died at all so far in this top lane. Still 20 CS down, but not down at what he used to be. We do see the goal differences though. About 6,300 on this Kennen, with Aatrox just about having 5,600. Your laner having over 1,000 gold on, despite you not having died or them having kills. Meanwhile, Meteor Hats with the Crow Storm is going to be able to pick up that shutdown Lee Shayon, getting that thereby also Soraka gold bounty. Licenseless Rider Death Ray isn't quite going to be able to find the Rift Herald, but your only chance is going to get canceled by WS's. I actually don't know the name of Aatrox W. I guess I'll check. Infernal Chains, I knew it had something to do with Chains, very kinky champion, so Infernal Chains was able to, whether it was the Powerball stopping preemptively or not. Not sure how the interaction would work, but BB Clocks knows how the interaction of a siege works. They're going to finish off that mid lane air turret despite having one of the members fallen. They're going to pick up 2 kills of their own, double kill for Licenseless Rider. While Lee Saitama picks up a kill of his own on the Meteor Hats, and here comes Brandon for the 1v9 play. Comes along with WS on this Aatrox, picking up a lot of damage on the Lee Saitama, but the Sirocco coming out is going to be able to keep his boys alive. Brandon opting out of that fight is going to get finished off by the Q, thereby also picking up the kill. Soraka taking down the Vladimir while Aatrox flashes to be able to stick just ever so slightly alive versus very, very fed BB Clock's composition. 4 members coming for the Stun Hib turret here at 20 minutes into the game 2 of this series. Baron is just about to spawn while I see if they can get this last damage off on the mid lane inhib. Well done so far by BB Clocks. 5-1-6 licenseless is on this Victor so far here in the mid lane. 750 gold bounty on his head. Meanwhile, deep focus, 318 on the Caitlyn, 650 gold bounty. Lee Shayon was able to pick up the gold bounty off on a Soraka, but, you know, he's going tank. He's not able to really turn that gold bounty into much of an advantage. He does have the Knight's Vow for his carries to allow him to stay alive a bit easier. Josh now does have his Storm Razor and the Guinsoo's finish, despite opting out of boots entirely so far. Is sitting out on about 500 gold, so hopefully he's able to finish off those Greaves sooner rather than later and able to finish off that E upgrade to allow him to get that stealth from that Kai'Zi, allow him to be a bit more slippery when it comes to the dive composition that Lee Saitama and Neurali Chance are showing that they can get so very deep onto the carries of FreeTyler1. Meanwhile, Neurali Chance powerballing to see if he can cancel Aatrox, and he's going to try to find the damage that he can off on the Soraka, but it's just not going to be any damage coming out from him whatsoever. Deep focus is on a killing spree for members of BB Clocks now on the top side of the map as Baron is up now, seeing if they can get that inner top lane turret. Well, Brandon, meanwhile, on this Vladimir, no teleport is available, but he is on this bot side of the map. You do see Kai'Sa trying her best to deal with the super minions that are in the mid lane, while, again, 4 members knocking on the doors of FreeTyler1, taking out this inner turret without just about any answer to it. Brandon's recall is going to be canceled. We see the Crow Store coming out from Meteor Hats and Chaos Storm coming out from Licensed Rider to see if they can find the Victor, but it's not going to be enough. Tick from the Chaos Storm is going to chunk out Meteor Hats, and it's going to be just enough for Licensed Rider Q or Flash Q forward. Finish off that kill onto the Fiddlesticks, and Lee Saitama having that Proto Belt available does not decide to use it to engage, and they say we're just going to play a bit careful. We're going to get this top lane in hit, and we're going to dip right out of here. We don't need to go for any sort of psycho play. We don't need to go for extra kills. We're playing so very carefully, having 7 turrets to 0 so far. Now in the jungle of FreeTyler1, taking the blue buff, taking the Gromp, or at least Soraka very much wants to. A team says, get the hell out of here, Soraka. You know, we need to look towards this Baron, apply the pressure that we can. Maybe not even go for it, but just reset. You know, buy some items. We're all sitting on a significant amount of gold. Caitlyn sitting on that 1,600. Victor sitting on the 1,300. Rammus sitting on about 1,000. So is Soraka. So they need to go back. They need to buy with their item or with their gold. Get some items under their belt and solidify their lead so far, as it looks like FreeTyler1 knows that the next step for them is to take this Baron. Lee Shayon popping that Rift Herald for the mid lane. While they see perhaps a desperation Baron play coming out from FreeTyler1 might be their only chance to come back in it. No Earth Dragon, but despite that, they're taking it very quickly with this Kai'Sa. Guinsoo's and Storm Rays dealing a large amount of damage. Lee Shayon Flag Dragon away, and Neurali Chance landing a good flash on a Brandon. Lee Saitama coming out with that Kentinal is going to be yet another kill. 1 in 8 so far. Vladimir having a very miserable game, and Lee Shayon seeming to pick up that Cataclysm, keeping both Soraka and Kennen in there with them. Resurrection coming out from the Aatrox with 4 members of BB Clocks are doing a good job to see that they can pick up the killing spree for Lee Saitama on this Kennen while they look towards Baron. 21 kills to 6 so far. This looks like it's going to be, you know, just about the end for FreeTyler1 unless they can pick up this Baron right now. If Jarvan can make a cheeky play, but Licensed Rider is doing a good job to keep him away, says you're not going to go for any, Resident Sleep or any sort of play, and there goes deep focus on yet another rampage on this Caitlyn. Good headshot is going to bring out a huge amount of damage onto the Jarvan, despite being full tank, despite having the Cinder Hulk, and despite having the Knight's Vow. Sliced like butter by the carries of BB Clocks. Baron has been secured. Again, more than a 10k gold lead for BB Clocks so far. 7 turrets to 0. And just, you know, put some salt in the wound. It looks like they're going to get their 2nd Cloud Dragon or their 3rd Dragon of the game before they go for this last turret and this last inhib, that being the bot lane. Otherwise, though, Brandon seeing if he can pick up those Merc Treads to try to negate the taunt that your only chance just about any time that Brandon is even in the face of Rammus. As Rammus has been flashing onto him over and over, I can only imagine the amount of tilt that Brandon is feeling right now. It just would not feel good to be anybody having that much pressure and priority applied onto you. This inner turret, again, just like the members of FreeTyler1, sliced like butter. It's going to be the 8th tower for BB Clocks so far as they have super minions flooding up into top lane. Lots of pings going down. They do have to make sure they don't get engaged by the Aatrox like this. Silence is coming out from the Soraka and the gravity field, and here comes the Kenanal to stun up who he can. He is going to fall down, and Meteor Hat's picking up that shutdown, but Licenseless Rider is going to be dominating. Picks up a double kill from both Brandon and Lee Shayon. 1937, not doing very well at all. The 3 members remaining on FreeTyler1 are so very helpless, while the 4 members remaining at BB Clocks finish off that last tower, finish off the bot lane inhib while they try to get the mid inhib and get the 3 inhibs to suffocate the remaining members of FreeTyler1. So many super minions flooding into their base. And this could be it. 25, almost 26 minutes into the game so far, and almost 12k gold. The Deep Focus finishing off that 10th tower. And here comes the 11th tower of the game, the last tower. Is it going to go down? Yes, it is. A lot of damage coming out from Josh onto the Rammus. Your only chance. Tanking up so many members of FreeTyler1 and Lee Saitama, despite not having ult. Your only chance is going to finish off that last kill. And Lee Shayon, 25-7, is going to be a devastating 2-0 victory for the side of BB Clocks. So very well done. Very dominating performance, not just a game 1, but for also game 2, a dominating series by them in general. We're looking at the scores here and taking a look at the damage graphs, as everybody likes to take a look at, and no damage at all coming out from FreeTyler1. Meanwhile, we're seeing Licenseless Rider by far going to be the damage MVP. 24,000 damage in a 26-minute game coming out from this Victor, followed up by that 17,000 coming out from the AoE Kennen, who was able to apply a lot of, just early pressure there in the top lane, was able to accumulate a very good CS lead, abusing that range versus the melee matchup to the best of his ability, and accumulating the lead that Kleptomancy was able to enable that Kennen to get as far ahead as he could. And your only chance, again, we saw him flash on, despite Brandon getting flashed on maybe 4 to 5 times by that Rammus, he was able to deal the most damage of his team, but again, it's hardly any comparison to the damage coming out from BB Clock. So very, very good game overall. If you want to take a look at the vision score of, who's applying the most vision and whatnot, we do see that is going to be thereby also yet again followed up by Media Hats, or Medio Hats. Media? Either way, Fiddlesticks. Not too far behind the Soraka on the amount of vision she is able to apply. So it is going to be a very, very good dominating victory for BB Clocks, and congratulations to all those that had gambled. I have selected that, so there you go. 63% of the bets were for BB Clocks, so congratulations to the cookie winners for that one. And yeah, if you want to take a look at damage to objectives, sure, I can absolutely do that for you, my man. So instead of damage to damage to champions, we'll look at damage to objectives, and Caitlyn, 29,000 damage, having that headshot being able to apply to those turrets, to those dragons, to those barons, does allow her to deal the most damage to objectives. And again, followed up by that Rammus dealing 19,000, being able to have that Thornmail and W damage to reflect back onto the barons and the dragons that he was able to take. So very well done. We did see a very good macro game coming out from BB Clocks. Was able to get quite literally every single, especially for game 2. I can't remember for game 1 very well, but for game 2, they were able to secure every single tower of FreeTyler1. So again, very good dominating performance, not just in the micro, but also in the macro. So very well done. And again, this is going to be finishing up this series. So again, very well done. Oh, if you want to take a look at here, sure. Why not? You want to see damage healed? I got you. If I can, healing done there. Oh my god. So Brandon, definitely going to be the biggest healer, but it's not going to heal the pain of that defeat. So that's going to be, again, 2-0 victory inside of BB Clocks, despite, I was really rooting for FreeTyler1. I was hoping that they were able to, turn those damage compositions on and see if they can run away with the lead, but they just weren't quite able to, find the opportunities that they are able to in previous series. So again, BB Clocks are going to be the victors for this game, and that is the only series that we have for tonight, and that is going to continue for, that's going to be as it remains for this off week of the Sugar Free League. So this was a little bit of odd scheduling, so there's not going to be any more games for this week. So again, thank you so much for watching, and if this was an entertaining series to you, make sure you do follow the Sugar Free League channel to make sure you don't miss any other series, and la-da-da-da-da. Be sure you're in the Discord channel. This is sponsored by Acer. Yeah, cookies are cool. Actually, I kind of want to see. I'll take a look at the cookie leaderboard. So the top 5 cookie holders we do have right now is Fallen Artemis with 127,000. There may be some fixing there, it being the owner, Kappa. So in second place is going to be Young Adrian, 38,000, and Tokushiro with nearly 26,000, and Gandhi Donut and Lee coming in 4th and 5th, both at about 25,000 and 24,000 respectively. So you can always have fun gambling with your cookies here in the Sugar Free League, but not for the rest of the night, or excuse me, not for the rest of the night, not for the rest of the week. So please stay tuned for next week as we get some more games going. And otherwise, this was Live Studio. It was a pleasure casting. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys next time. So have a fantastic rest of your night. And yeah, thank you so much for watching the Sugar Free League.